Hello friends, today we are going to discuss an interesting case on rights of persons with mental illness, titled as Mujhe Mera Beta Wapas De Do. I'm Dr. Suresh Padadmat, Professor of Psychiatry, Head of Telemedicine Center, Head of Forensic Psychiatry Services, working at NIMANS, Bangalore. Before I start my presentation, I would like to have a disclaimer. This presentation is for academic purpose only, not for legal opinion. If you want to have a legal opinion, please do contact an advocate. Conflict of interest? None. This presentation is to make aware the rights of persons with mental illness. Let's discuss this case. A very interesting case. I've already made a video on this case with regarding what was the issue which happened. Let's recapitulate. On 5th of December 2020, an interesting article was published by Midday. The same article continued on 8 December on the progress of the case. Further, on 13th December 2020. Let's discuss this case. I am presenting this case getting information from the paper cuttings, the internet, discussing with my psychiatrists who are practicing in Mumbai and some of the mental health professionals who are working in Mumbai. So, this case is more of generating awareness regarding the rights of persons with mental illness. This case starts like this. A lady in her mid-30s from Bihar who is married from lower socioeconomic background. Family is very poor. Her husband is working as a daily wage laborer. She has two kids. One is around 8 to 9 year old and another kid is around 6 months old. But she also has mental illness. A woman with mental illness from a lower socioeconomic status means a multiple geoparity, you can call it as. That means discrimination at various levels. She is a woman, she has mental illness, she is poor. And now, since she is having mental illness, the husband having a job in Kanpur, basically daily wage laborer, he takes her to Kanpur for treatment. During this process, the lady, along with the child, she goes missing. The child is the smaller child, that is around 6 months old child. She goes missing somewhere during July, August. And later, in 16th September 2019, she was found in Borivali railway station, Mumbai. She was found talking to self, smiling to self. She was disheveled. At the same time, she was trying to feed the child and she is becoming irritable, and at times she used to beat the child. Looking at the plight of the child, the railway police took the child and the mother into their custody as per Mental Health Care Act. And immediately, the police produced the child in front of the Child Welfare Committee. The Child Welfare Committee took into protection and placed in a foster care. At the same time, a kind-hearted Bollywood director along with her family came and took the adoption of the child. Mother was admitted in Shraddha Rehabilitation Foundation. Shraddha Rehabilitation Foundation is looked after by none other than by Dr. Bharat Vatwani. He is a famous psychiatrist and he is also a very kind, amazing human being. Under Shraddha Rehabilitation Foundation, there are thousands of persons with mental illness has been rehabilitated. Till date, more than 7,000 patients have been rehabilitated and reunited with the family members. He is also a recipient of Ramano MHCA Award in 2018. His contribution has been recognized internationally. And he is one of the best in the country. I don't think there is any other best place in Mumbai where this lady could have been taken care. And under Dr. Bharat Vatwani, she recovered very fast. She was given medication. Within 1 month, she recovered completely. On 4th November 2019, a report was asked from Shraddha Rehabilitation Center. Immediately, Dr. Bharat Vatwani gave she is completely fit, both physically and mentally. She can take care of herself and also to the child. This fitness certificate was produced. Unfortunately, by the time the child was already been adopted. This was a very crucial period. At the same time, the mother was asking for her child. She was crying. She was pining for her child. Dr. Bharat Vatwani and his team also located her family members in Bihar. During that time, she was able to give her address and her family members' whereabouts. And this was a very, what we call it as a conflicting scenario. At the same time, the CWC requested she has to be produced independently in front of another medical body to get the fitness certificate. She was produced in front of Nair Hospital Psychiatry Department. They did the testing, and then a fitness certificate was also given that she is completely physically and mentally fit to take care of herself and also the child. This was during January 2020. During that time, the lockdown initiated. Court were closed. CWC did not work for some time. The case was delayed. Her parents could not come from Bihar. There was another case which was occurring at the same time. That is a celebrity suicide, and the fight between Bihar and Maharashtra started. At the same time, the child placement was a big question. Whether the child should be placed in the orphanage home or else with the foster care home. During the COVID, of course, any sensible man will say that it has to be placed with the foster parents because they are well to do, they were able to provide a good care. During this time, the foster care parents developed an amazing attachment with the child. The child started to grow very well, thrive very well. Emotional attachment became stronger. Foster family parents refused to give the child now. So the litigation started. The child was caught in the legal battle, whether the custody should go to the biological mother or to the foster care parents. Dr. Vatwani and team clearly said that if you don't give the child to the mother may again slip into mental illness. If her child is missing, what will happen to the mother? Just think about it. And already she has a mental illness. She has recovered now. And now the system is refusing to give the child back to her. So this legal battle started. On November 2020, there was a demand to do a DNA test to see whether she is the mother of the child. So a DNA test was also conducted. It clearly said she is the mother. Litigation intensified. Custody of the child was taken to the court. The argument whether the biological mother should be given. Of course, she is the natural guardian and she can give the best care to the child. If you don't give the child to her, her mental illness will intensify. At the same time, if you separate the mother from the child also may suffer. The counter argument, she is very poor. She cannot take care of her first child only. It is taken care of by her relatives. So the second child also will suffer the same fate. It is better to be with the rich family. And also they are affectionate. They are able to provide all care. At the same time, one more counter argument is she was abusing the child. So should we give it to the foster care parents? If you look at the Supreme Court decision regarding the custody of the child, it clearly says best interest and welfare of the child will play a major role. It is nothing to do with the law or regulation. Welfare of the child is primordial in this situation. What is best interest here? What is the best welfare interest of the child? Is it the economy, education, comfort, health of the parents? Is it the background of the parents? Whether the parents are abusing the child, religion of the child or religion of the parents, or personality of the parents, spiritual growth, morality, ethics of the parents, a future of the child, where it is good, whether it is the biological mother or with the foster parents, environment, culture, whether the child should be in Bihar or in Maharashtra or in Mumbai. So which is the best interest? Is it the money? Is it the love? So, and the child is hardly 2 years old. The child also is unable to opine where it would like to be. Whether the child will say, I want to be with the director, so tomorrow I can become a Bollywood hero, or the child wants to go with the biological mother. No problem. My mother is poor. I would like to be with her. So the issue here is it's like a movie of Divar. You may have any amount of money, property, but mother, biological mother is a mother. Legal battle intensified. The issue of celebrity suicide, fight between Bihar and Maharashtra was already ongoing. This issue also intensified. But however, the media was responsible in this case about reporting the rights of persons with mental illness. Unfortunately, many professionals from Maharashtra supported the rights of persons with mental illness. Dr. Bharat Vatwani and his team, the Bombay Psychiatric Society, Dr. Milan Balakrishnan wrote a letter to CWC requesting for the restoration of rights of the persons with mental illness. Dr. Sunjay Kumawat, again a senior consultant psychiatrist, also played a major role. He also started looking about how we can fight in the High Court. Habeas corpus can be filed. That was his intention. He also made it very clear. And also Farzana Ansari, a social worker, was standing solid rock behind the patient. So all these played a major role in getting the rights of persons with mental illness. Let's look into the law now. First and foremost, India has ratified UNCRC, that is United Nations Convention on Rights of the Children. We ratified in 1992. It clearly, Article 7, 8, 9 clearly says that child should not be separated from his or her parents against the will of the parents. So, if we are separating from the biological parents, so we are violating United Nations Convention on Child Rights. Further, the other important legislation is Juvenile Justice Care Protection of Children Act 2015. Simply it is called as JJ Act. What does the JJ Act says? JJ Act section 31, 32, 36, 37, 38 and 40 talks about how the child should be given for adoption. Section 38 very particularly says procedure for declaring a child legally free for adoption is very essential. It also mandates the CWC should try to trace the family. In this case, the mother was there, so there was no need to trace the family. At the same time, there was the Bharat Vatwani's team had traced her family, and they are ready to come and take care of both the mother and the child. Further, child eligible for adoption, any orphan, abandoned or surrendered child should be there. It doesn't fall into any of that. It is neither an orphan, neither it is an abandoned, neither it is surrounded by the parents. And even if it is there, if it is an abandoned child, since the child is less than 2 years, CWC has a responsibility of within 2 months to declare it is legally available for adoption based upon the available in the legislation. Further, in 2017, adoption regulations have been notified on 16 January. In that, the regulation 3C clearly says that all adoption shall be registered on Child Adoption Resource Information and Guidance System. That means it has to be registered. So this comes under JJ Act. Please do read Adoption Regulation of 2017 to know about adoption rules and regulations. Further, there was another important legislation, Mental Health Care Act of 2017, which decided the case very easily. As for Mental Health Care Act, Section 21, which clearly talks about right to equality and non-discrimination. Under Section 21(2), it clearly says a child under the age of 3 years of a woman receiving treatment from any mental institution, either may be treatment, care, and rehabilitation, the child will not be separated at any cost. The child should stay with the mother. However, if you want to separate the child from the mother, the psychiatrist who is in charge, here it is Dr. Bharat Vatwani, has to issue a certificate telling that the mother is a risk to the child. She is harmful to the child. She may cause harm to the child. The interest and safety of the child should be separated. That should be given in writing by the treating psychiatrist. Here, Dr. Bharat Vatwani was supposed to give the certificate, and it has to be taken by the state government. And even if he gives an order that he has to be separated, the child should be separated only temporarily, not permanently. That means this order of the psychiatrist will be very temporary, and every 15 days they have to assess and reassess the mother's condition. Here, the mother became all right within 1 month. And also, even if it is temporarily separated, access to the child should be given to the mother under the supervision of the staff. The Mental Health Care Act is very, very clear. And also it says every 15 days review the situation of the mother. And at any cost, mother and child should be brought together at the earliest. The simple reason is the more you keep the mother and child away from each other, the bonding decreases. And it has a severe impact on the child and also to the mother, which is unwanted, unwarranted, considering the background of mental illness in this lady. At the same time, if you have to separate the mother and child for more than 30 days, the state government has to take or seek permission from the state mental health authority, which was not done in this case situation. So there were serious violations and lapses. And finally, on December 15th, woman beats the mental illness to win back from the foster age parents. That means she won. And the Child Welfare Committee unanimously, 4-member committee, unanimously decided in the best interest of the child is to hand over the child to the biological mother. And to conclude, my dear friends, Dr. Bharat Vatwani is an amazing human being, said that I want people to spread the message that the mentally ill have rights and they have more emotional needs than a common man, and no one can deprive them the same. At the same time, he also said that you cannot walk over the human rights and dignity of the mentally ill, nor extinguish their desire to love and to be loved. It's an amazing word. And Dr. Bharat Vatwani stands by that. And more than his words, his deeds speaks volumes. And he is one of the best psychiatrists in our country. And in this case, rights of the child is to be with the mother, and rights of the mother is to have the child. So it is in the best interest of both of them. The biological mother gets the predominance and she recovered. And the rights of the foster care parents is undermined. And invariably, it is undoubtedly, it is very clearly, has been written now, the persons with mental illness have a right to have their child. You cannot separate them. If you want to separate them, there is a procedure. That procedure needs to be followed. It is JJ Act and Mental Health Care Act. Please do follow that. Thank you for your valuable time. Stay safe. And if you have any questions, please do comment or contact me over my email address sureshbm@gmail.com.